played with a lot of stars and you played against a lot of stars. Did you ever get starstruck? Do you think you would still like to manage someday? Would you say your brother was a little more feisty than you?
I was like, he's shocked. He's shocked that happened, because in my mind, I was not thinking about home runs, and I just wanted to play in an AllStar Game in Cleveland. I've been in 3 World Series, 1 as a coach and 2 as a player. They've all been with the Indians, and the Indians been in the World Series 5 times.
You're good luck.
This is the kind of teams that can take you a long ways. And I can't wait for this city, this team, to win a championship.
Did you ever think that you were going to be spending as many years in Cleveland as you ended up spending here?
Well, as a player, when we made the commitment, yes, I felt like the way they embraced me here in Cleveland when I was traded here was fantastic. I know that the beginning was hard, losing 101 games, and the rebuild process was difficult. But the belief and the plan that the Indians had, it was great. So I bought into it. So did Carlos Baerga, Charles Nagy, Kenny Lofton, all these guys, the core player, Omar Vizquel. The fact is that we invested in the team, basically saying, okay, we believe in the plan. We stayed here, and a lot of success afterwards. I mean, all that plan paid off.
So I'm sure that every time people sit down and talk with you, and you're a storyteller, like, you're great because you will talk about the old days and reminisce with the rest of us who get excited about it. But, I mean, does that ever get old to you, thinking about that time? Because it was so exciting.
I think it's time for the new generation. I think it's time for us to turn a page on the old team. But because our new team, the younger guys now, our teams right now are pretty good, and they're having a lot of success. So I think they are the ones that get tired of hearing of the 90 guys. But it put in perspective how good and how the older guys took pride on winning and the preparation. And these guys are doing that right now. And I feel like the one person that was here all those years was myself. So like everybody's gonna want to ask about it. So I kind of I'm stuck in the middle. But really, I try to tell people, you know what, it's time to turn the page and let the new kids in the block, enjoy, have their fun, and create their own dynasty. And at the end of the day, we haven't won the World Series. So since '48, we have to. That's the plan, and we were not able to do it, even though we had those great teams. We went to the Game 7 of the World Series in '97, and unfortunately we lost in extra innings. It was a heartbreaking loss, but we were there. And just a few years back, we lost to the Cubs in 7 games. So opportunities have been there. It's just like we haven't been able to close the deal. It's
so hard to get there. Sometimes I think that's lost, right? Because fans want it so badly. Of course, as players, like, you're putting your heart, soul, and your entire mind and body into it. But it can't be overlooked how hard it is to get there.
I've been in 6 organizations. I only made the World Series only with the Indians. So I went around after I left Cleveland. I went with the White Sox, Rockies, Dodgers, Rangers, Mets, and at the end of the day, I've been in 3 World Series, 1 as a coach and 2 as a player. They've all been with the Indians, and the Indians been in the World Series 5 times.
You're good luck.
So, well, I don't know. We haven't won it, but
no. But you know what? You get us there. You got to get there first, right?
Yeah. It's very difficult to be in the World Series. The Royals did it back-to-back years. They had a chance. They lost the World Series, and then they won it. It's the wear and tear of playing an extra month add up to your career. If you go to the playoff 3 or 4 years in a row, you adding up another month in your season. So there's a grind that the players, you have to really prepare yourself different the year after. When you go to spring training, the Indians do a good job resting guys and understanding that we play an extra month of baseball when everybody was home resting. So that's the hardest part about, they talk about the postseason flu, they call it hangover, whatever they call it, which is like guys' bodies are not recuperated from the prior season. So that's why it's so hard to make it back-to-back years.
When we were talking to Josh Tomlin, he mentioned that there's something special about the team and the unity of the team, and that even though a lot of the guys come from different walks of life and different backgrounds and speak different languages, they all really genuinely like each other and appreciate each other. I would imagine that is not true everywhere. Do you recognize that that's special?
One of the things that I feel this organization have is because they try to stay with the core players, and the core players being together for so long, it's almost like it's almost like a brothers. They're almost like brothers. They're like, we are a family. Mm-hmm. We sprinkle the team with a few veteran players and free agency, but players that have leadership, players that have that come from a winning environment. But yes, we are so close because we know each other for so long that we know our strengths and weaknesses, and we know what it takes to push each other. And these guys have been together since the minor leagues. Most of these guys, like the Ramirez and Lindors and Tomlin, they come from the system, and they already know, and they know how each other works, and they know how each other's, like I say, strengths and weaknesses, and what they have to do to get better. So when new people come in, our players kind of like embrace them to the new environment, and everybody start catching up what's going on here in Cleveland. Our locker room is awesome. Our guys get along very well. From the different ethnicities, it doesn't really matter. Everybody is on the same page.
It's clearly a brotherhood, because the other day I was watching post-game, and Frankie Lindor said something that really stuck with me, and that was, don't pull my teammates. Because Cody Allen, right, is going through a little bit of a struggle. And that happens. That happens in the game. It happens in life. Like, not everybody is 100% every day.
That's correct. That's correct.
Right, which I think sometimes can be lost on even fans. And so I love that he said that, because personally I think it's shameful that any fan would ever boo one of their own players because they're in a slump. It's one thing if they do something or say something that deserved booing, but just going through a slump. So as a coach, like, you know these guys, and you know the mental game is a huge part of the game. How do you talk to these guys to keep their mental game strong when they're getting booed by people who are supposed to be championing them?
Well, that's not the first time it happened. I've been in a situation with in the 90s we were being booed, even though we win divisions and year after years. But we have instances that we were being booed because we gave out 3 or 4 runs in the first inning. We haven't even had a chance to hit. So it is happening in the past. We as players have to understand that we are performers, and we do get paid a lot of money to perform. Fans need to understand that if everybody could do this, then we wouldn't get paid a lot of money, because then your value goes down. It's only an elite amount of players that can play to this level, 750 in the world. So in reality, if you are part of the 750 player, you deserve to get paid, because there's 8 billion people in the world. So we need, we have a special talent. Yeah. With that being said, yes, we get paid a lot of money, but we're playing a sport that is hard, man. It's like you're not gonna be in top-notch shape or top-notch, I should say, game every day. You're competing with people that are similar to you. So for us to be consistent year after year after year, you're gonna hit a low. You're gonna have peaks and valleys. So it's very difficult for a player to perform to a peak level or to sustain it year after year. You're gonna hit a low at one point, and at that point is when you really need to support that guy, because it can become emotional. Even though you are making all this money, you're making millions of dollars, you're still a human being and you're performing. And they want the support from the fans. That's what Frankie was trying to say. This guy has gone to battle with us. He has saved many games. One of the reasons we went to the World Series in 2016 is because Cody Alomar was one of the biggest guys. So now that he's hitting a low, why are we not supporting him? That's basically what he was trying to say. And I understand that the money factor. I understand people think that because you get paid money, you should be on your peaks all the time. It doesn't happen that way. That's the way it is. We are competing. We're still competitors, and other guys are going to compete better than us. At one point, we have to stay focused that support those people. And let me tell you something. I saw people supporting Cody, standing up in the stands, rooting for him when few other people were booing. And Frankie spoke his mind. He's a leader of the team, and well said. I mean, I thought it was well said. But we have to, block that out. As athletes, we have to block that out and keep performing.
What are some of the best lessons you learned from your playing days that come into play with your advice giving?
Stay humble. Stay humble. Stay within yourself. Be yourself. Teach the individual. I feel like this is a humbling game. You fail 7 out of 10 times and you're successful. So you're failing a lot. You're playing a sport and you're failing a lot. If you fail 7 out of 10, you're a good player. Very good player. That's 300 batting average. So, but that's a lot of failing. You can't do that in golf, I don't think. I feel like you gotta stay humble because there's gonna be a lot of peaks and valleys. I learned that from my father a long time ago. Don't get ahead of yourself. Just play the game the right way. Be fundamentally sound and play hard. That's all I knew. And I go out there and just lead by example. And if I wasn't the best player, I give you my best effort. Just compete out there.
Your family, it's so unique that your father played, your brother played, you got to play with him, which I think would be one of the coolest things. Like, what are your early memories of playing ball? It was in your blood, but can you remember early on when it was just a pure game for you?
When we were kids, we played Little League together, and it was a lot of fun. I was so proud of my brother because I felt like my brother, since he was a little kid, had a special skills. He had all the tools since he was a kid. He was a special breed. When my dad was playing in the major league level, I remember the instant. One time we were in Arlington, Texas, when he played for the Rangers, and we were trying out for. I was trying out for a little league team over there, and my brother was going to the practice with me, but he was underage for that team, and the coach go, "Oh, what about your brother?" I said, he's not old enough to play. I told him he was not old enough to play in his team, but he's better than everybody. Coach, go, "Really?" I said, "Yes, try him out." He tried him out, and he blew everybody away with his abilities, even though he was underage for that team. In practice, he was remarkable. The things he could do because my dad used to bring him to the ballpark and have him take ground balls with adults, with major leaguers, and he wasn't afraid of anything. So when we had the chance to play Major League Baseball together, it was awesome. It was an unforgettable experience having your brother alongside you playing Major League Baseball.
Your personality types are different, right?
Yes.
Would you say your brother was a little more feisty than you?
He was
a little more hot-headed.
No, not really. He was more quiet. He was more introverted than I am. I'm an outgoing guy. He's more quiet. Roberto's more quiet. He's more into the game. He slept and breathed baseball. That was his thing. He just wanted to be a Major League Baseball player. He was married to the baseball. When we were kids, I didn't play baseball as much as he did. I used to do other things. I used to ride dirt bikes, and as a matter of fact, I bought my own dirt bike, delivering newspaper, working with my dad gas station in my dad's gas station. I earned some money and buy my own bike. He was totally 100% baseball. I wasn't. That's why it took me a little longer to develop as a player than him. He, as soon as he touched professional baseball, he was a star player.
So when did it click for you that you wanted to make it to the major league?
My dad put me in Taekwondo when I was a kid. So I used to take martial arts. I was in love with Taekwondo, and I was there year after year. In Taekwondo classes. I played baseball too. But one day there was a tournament, a baseball tournament, and one of the coaches came into my dad's gas station and asked my dad if I wanted to play for his team for this short tournament and catch. And I haven't played for a year. And I went there and I practiced and I cut for his team and played good. And one of the things that I had when I was a kid, I never had fear of the ball. I blocked balls in the dirt since I was a kid. I did everything defensively correct. I was a little skinnier. I wasn't growing into my body yet, but I was a much better defensive player than I was offensively. Mm-hmm. And that tournament opened my eyes. My dad said, "Hey, man, you look natural back there behind the plate. There's one position you can play that you can probably make it to the big leagues because there's not that many catchers out there." And I continued playing, and from there on, I was developing as a catcher. It was fantastic. I got picked up by the San Diego Padres and never looked back after that.
The last time that the AllStar Game was played in Cleveland, you're with the Indians, you're on the team, you win MVP in front of a hometown crowd. Is that your coolest moment in baseball, or is it like, does it make top 5?
Yes, it was a very exciting moment because the fact that we play here in Cleveland and the fact that everybody was talking about this All-Star game. The game was never been played in Jacobs Field at the time, and I was having a good year that year. I felt I was healthy. I just felt like I wasn't even expecting to play in the game because Pudge Rodriguez was there, but he played 7 or 6 innings, and then they put me in. And the whole thing is like, I wanted to be in the All-Star game, never expecting that I was going to come out in a critical situation and hit a home run. I just was out there having fun, and that happened. So with that being said, that was one of the coolest moments in my career just because he was here, and my son was in the ballpark. He was a little kid. He jumped on the field and took the trophy. That trophy's mine, Dad. So, but I was like, he's shocked that happened because in my mind I was not thinking about home runs, and I just wanted to play in the All-Star game in Cleveland. It wasn't even about what I was about to do. It was more about participating in that game, and that kind of like a gift from God. Hey, you can have this, kid. Like, it was fun, but in reality, the best moments of my career are moments that involve postseason. Anytime you are in a special game postseason, those are my best moments. Anything you accomplish in postseason that's going to give you a chance to go to the next series, or chance to be in a World Series, or chance for you to raise a banner, those are the moments that I cherish the most.
You played with a lot of stars, and you played against a lot of stars. Did you ever get starstruck on the field?
Not really, because growing up in this environment, that's one of the things that I had, the opportunity to grow up, because my dad used to play. I had the opportunity to grow up in Major League locker rooms. So since I was a kid, I already seen star players. I seen one of the reasons I wear number 15 is because my dad played with Thurman Munson, and he was a catcher, and I used to love to watch Thurman catch because his catch and release to the bases were the fastest I've seen, and I wear 15 in tribute to him. But you got Catchfish Hunter, Billy Martin, you got all these players that were there in New York that I felt like they were star players. And when you grow up in that environment, when you start playing, you kind of get used to it. But when I got called up to the big leagues the first time is when I really felt, like, wow, I'm going to face Nolan Ryan. And Nolan Ryan was still playing when I came out. How about that?
Isn't that incredible?
I see Cal Ripken because Cal Ripken was like, a superstar player. I'm squatting behind Cal Ripken right now at this moment. Yeah, things like that. Yeah. But when you start knowing that you belong there, then you don't get a starstruck. You get guys like Jose Canseco, Barry Bonds, all these guys. And Barry Bonds I know since he was a kid because his father played with my father with the Rangers organization in '78, I believe. And we used to play with Barry Bonds underneath the stands playing paper cup baseball. Me and my brother, Ricky, his brother, and Barry. We used to play paper cup baseball.
Is that right?
So yes.
That's wild.
So I know Barry since he was a kid. But then you see him in the big leagues and his success, and you see all these other players, and you go, wow, this is amazing how come player hit balls this far, or how come player be so much better than other players? Is because they have a special talent, or they're very true to their abilities. They're very meticulous with their work ethic and whatever they do. So it's fun. It's fun to see the development of players since they were kids into they grow out as major leaguers. And I can tell you about that because my brother, I saw his entire development because we grew up together, and then I saw him play little leagues, play minor leagues together a few years, and then after that we were apart. But he was in Toronto, and the toughest part was playing postseason against my brother. That's the worst. It was hard on the family.
Right, because I guess they have to buy shirts that would say like Blue Jays on one side, Indians on the other.
Actually, it was not with the Blue Jays. It was Baltimore against Cleveland.
Baltimore.
So we eliminated each other a lot. The path to the World Series was between the Orioles and the Indians a few years. I should say that my mom, she didn't want to watch the games. She was like stressed out all the time.
Yeah, okay, so right, you're playing against your brother. He's up to bat. Are you wanting him to strike out, or are you wanting him to maybe get like a base hit?
I'm competing now. This is
all bets are off, then, huh?
He can get all the hits after he leaves Cleveland. How's that?
Right.
Or prior to coming to Cleveland. It was hard to compete against each other because you deep down inside you want your brother to succeed, but I'm there competing. I'm a very competitive person, and I was trying to tell players, hey, I know how to get my brother out, so relax. We're gonna do it.
So you were giving pitchers tips on how to strike out your brother because you knew what his weakness was.
Yeah, but you know what? He had a home run against us in '96 to eliminate us against Jose Mesa. I remember that. And I was catching that game. It was not fun. Everybody asked me, hey, did you ever tell your brother the signs? I said, come on, man.
No way.
Okay. That's ridiculous. No, I can't do that. We are professionals, and we're here competing. I'm sure he's trying to steal a base against me, too, so he's not trying to get thrown out.
You know the game so well. Players love you, respond to you well. You're great with the media. Do you think you would still like to manage someday?
I really don't talk about managing. I really feel like every coach should have the ambition of managing. But with that being said, I'm focusing on what I'm doing right now. I'm coaching. I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm coaching first base. I love the catching. I love the pitching, breaking him down. I love all that stuff. If opportunity arises and somebody wants to give me an opportunity, sure, I interview. That's not a secret. But the reality is, it's like every coach that is involved in Major League Baseball should have an ambition to manage or to go out there and take charge of the team. But when I'm working right now, I don't look at it that way. I'm looking at focusing on my job. Like, I really don't have a hitting agenda for anything. My agenda is, how can I get this team and make it better for Cleveland to win? And if the other team shows up, great. If it doesn't, that's what it is. You know, I enjoy this game. I'm glad and happy that I have been here for many years. Baseball has given me an outstanding life. Can't complain. There's many other people that have been in the minor leagues for a long time, coaching and managing, never get a chance. I'm here in the big leagues right now. I should be I'm privileged and I'm flattered that I've been in this game for so long.